Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 77 of the Sim Racing Show. And this week we're discussing the biggest drops from the Sim Racing Expo 2025, the bombshells, and what went wrong. This episode's packed with new hardware, new games, new rivals. I took a lot of time out to go to the Sim Racing Expo. I spoke with literally everyone, tried all the products, and there's some things that are a bit surprising, not always in a good way. Now let's start with one of the biggest drops in my opinion, which was Thrustmaster's brand new Raceline load cell pedal. They're finally here. They are the most important product for Thrustmaster, I think, in the last year. Maybe more than that, because they're a 100 kg load cell, not 75 kg. They've got 100 kg, but they've also included some really nice looking faceplates, like they look nice, and it's adding a little bit of swagger to the Thrustmaster ecosystem. They're coming at €139, so still competitively priced, but just adding some indications of where Thrustmaster is going in the future. And by the way, it's anyone who's been reviewing or talking about the Thrustmaster T598 and not criticizing it for only having hall sensor pedals, I don't think it's been honest with you. Like, I've always said the T598, the Achilles heel is that it doesn't have load cell pedals, and that is a massive compromise you need to be aware of. There's also something else with the T598, which is the power disconnect issue, which they say they're fixing. So with these two things, the load cell pedals, and they say they're fixing their disconnect issue, we can start to see maybe the T598 become more of a safer choice. So Thrustmaster are taking a direction. It's a really important product because it needs to work. Now, I've been testing it out. I had a great experience with it at the Thrustmaster booth at the Sim Racing Expo. But remember, that's set up by them. They're going to know those ones are going to work. Are there going to be issues off the production line? Fingers crossed not. We have to really assess this because of the issues we have with the T598. But they do feel great. They look like they're going to be amazing in socks as well. They're really good in shoes. They come with a new heel plate as well, like all across the top. So there's some more metal in there to make sure that you can fit a clutch, a brake, and a throttle as well. While we're on Thrustmaster, some other updates. The TGT style GT rim is now standalone, or is going to be standalone with the new Thrustmaster quick release. An updated SF1000 that's now called the SF25 has got the latest stickers. So Lewis Hamilton's kind of driving that wheel. And also a T818 Black Edition that they say fixes some issues with the T818 in the past. So Thrustmaster's in a kind of like refinement stage right now. It's bringing rims, it's bringing load cells, it's bringing kind of ultimate edition of products. Very interesting. Now here's something that no one really saw coming. I let you know in the Sim Racing Show previously. So by the way, make sure you're subscribed right now if you want to help me out. Your subscriptions make all the difference. It was amazing to meet so many of you in Germany. So many photos, so many signatures, signing your wheel, so many fist bumps, so many handshakes. Absolutely unbelievable to meet you guys and girls in person. You guys absolutely rock. But I let you know that something was coming in the Assetto Corsa universe. I didn't think it was going to be rally. But the day before, there was a secret show where they showed some influencers Assetto Corsa Rally, which is absolutely crazy. And then I was able to drive it as well. One of the first people in the world to drive it. It's not developed by Kunos on their own. It's really developed by Supernova Games. I interviewed one of the guys there, you may have seen it, in partnership with Kunos. And it's proper hardcore. Like, this is actual rally simulator. And I couldn't quite get my head around it to begin with. I assumed it was going to be like just another rally game. It's not. Like, this is super simulation. It doesn't feel unfair. It's a little bit like BeamMG. BeamMG is hardcore simulation. It doesn't feel unfair in BeamMG when you crash, but the consequences are devastating. It's similar here. Like, you know that you made a mistake and you weren't, generally you were just understeering, to be honest. So it's the first rally sim, they say, to use laser scan stages. I'm not sure about that. I think some mods on Richard Burns Rally might also have it, but they say that. And using real roads as well. So I was able to drive some tarmac and gravel in Wales, which felt absolutely amazing. You have to do stuff like Scandinavian flicks. You've got to do the weight transfer. In the videos, it might look a little bit floaty. It doesn't feel floaty at all, at least on the wheel. It's also a new lease of life for a lot of direct drive wheelbases, that you're kind of getting all the lock, letting it run through your hands, and you're really seeing what the direct drive wheelbase can do, as opposed to being in a Formula car where all you're doing is this most of the time. So there is going to be a demo coming out, so everyone's going to be able to drive. 5 cars across tarmac and gravel. The Fiat 131 A-Bar, the Hyundai i20, the Peugeot 208 R5, and it's going to be tough. I really want to hear your thoughts for it. It's then going to come in early access. Very controversial, I think. I asked them about this, like, this is going to be controversial because Assetto Corsa EVO roadmap has not been followed, but it's coming to early access on November 13th. Sim races are about to eat. Now let's talk about the Fanatec Podium pedals. This was one of the biggest drops. Again, there was a little secret invitation only thing the day before, which was very cool, from Fanatec, and I was able to interview the product managers for the Podium pedals and actually also the Podium DD I'll talk about. And they say no gimmicks. I think they're saying that because they know everyone's going to say they're not active pedals, they're not hydraulics. So they're very good load cell pedals. They remind me of the Wave Italy $2,000 pedals that I've reviewed on the channel, and they have some new thing on them. These are the Fanatec Podium pedals. That means the elastometers shouldn't wear out over time. Not something I've really noticed. I never replaced the elastometers in my Fanatec V3 pedals that are down here, but I did have to grease them a lot. If I needed to replace elastometers, I would just buy another brake performance kit. So that's the question that Fanatec are going to have to really explain when they're asked it. So you guys and girls should be asking me in the comments, what are the questions that you want asked so I can ask Fanatec. It's always really interesting talking about Fanatec because I remember 2 years ago, I was the only YouTuber in the world saying, I've been reading Fanatec's financial reports and I think they're going to go insolvent. Maybe we should double think before we actually put an order in for Fanatec products because maybe they're not going to be delivered. I was the only person talking about it while basically every other YouTuber was just spamming Fanatec affiliate links. So I always find it interesting to talk about Fanatec. I have a great relationship with Fanatec. I think there was a lot of respect, mutual respect with the way I was able to kind of investigate that, interview the CEO, and Fanatec now does seem to be on the up. Let's see what they do on pricing on these pedals. I think pricing is going to be absolutely key. They asked me what I thought on pricing. In fact, you let me know in the comments, what do you think of the pricing of the Podium pedals? How much should they cost? Fanatec also unveiled the Podium DD. Don't think it quite got as much interest. I did drive it. It's a very, very, very good wheelbase. I just think with wheelbases, and I have a lot of thoughts about sim racing right now, a lot of really nuanced thoughts that I'm not sure are gonna be able to get through in like YouTube videos. Like they're more nuanced than that. But for example, I kind of feel like with direct drive wheelbases, you front mount them, you don't actually see them because you see your wheel, and then they become very in the background. It's like whatever's behind your dash in your car that you drive in real life. It's very much in the background there. So I feel like it's very hard for wheelbases to stand out. They don't have very interesting design because, you know, I was able to disassemble a wheelbase at the Sim Racing Expo. They're very limited by the function they need to have with the coils and the magnet and the shaft and the slip ring and all this kind of stuff, if you're still using a slip ring. And when you mount it anyway, you don't really notice it. So, but this Fanatec Podium DD felt absolutely great. The Fullforce I was trying on iRacing felt great. It's a great wheelbase, but surely it's going to come down to pricing. And with Moser releasing the R25 Ultra True Torque DD, I'm going to do a video on that actually this week also. And then I'm going to be able to review it because the release date has been announced for 30th of October. A lot of this competition is going to be on pricing. But I think the Fanatec Podium DD is a great wheelbase. And if you love Fanatec, it's great to have that option in the Fanatec ecosystem. Also comes with a longer shaft built in, just like me. So that's amazing because you can actually drop your monitor in between the wheelbase and the wheels. So that's fantastic. And also Fanatec are going for this kind of like podium style with the black and the gold. And we've been talking about Fanatec podium pedals for so long in the Sim Racing show. You know, I've been letting you know that I think they're coming. They're finally here. Is it what we expected? I'm not sure, but they felt kind of good. So that's Fanatec. Now, next we're going to speak more about the Sim Racing surprises and criticism. Before that, a big shout out to Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video. So many sims coming out. Instant Gaming has really big discounts on a lot of them, like Le Mans Ultimate, Assetto Corsa EVO, even the stuff like Assetto Corsa Competizione and BOMBSHELLS. I checked some prices. Le Mans Ultimate is 42% off on Instant Gaming at $26. EVO 50% off, $23 on Instant Gaming. And Project Motor Racing is in pre-order. I don't know how this is working, but 40% off and costing $40. Now that's a pre-order, so I'm not going to recommend you go out and rush it unless you're absolutely certain. But basically, check my affiliate link in the description below. See the price on Instant Gaming. If they're the best prices, you know you're getting a little bit of a deal there. Now, other things I'm going to go through quickly and talk to you about is the Ascher new products there. So Ascher brought a new SimuQ compatible wheel. They also, I saw, if you have a look at the footage, this looks like Max Verstappen's actual wheel. So Max Verstappen's actual wheel, you can see how it looks. So yeah, pretty crazy. VPG have brought their Porsche replica wheel. Insane. I was able to go inside the new 911 Cup car and put them side by side. You can't tell the difference. I've been to the factory with VPG. You know how they do. Thermaltake invited me over to their booth to see what they do. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to have a showcase video coming out on that. I was surprised by the amount of stuff there was, from 6 Newton meters to 20 Newton meters to full-on motion rigs. That was pretty crazy. Assetto Corsa EVO 0.4, I got to chat with Marco at Kunos. He's been watching all of these videos, so he's been reading your comments. He's a very passionate guy. So again, if you've got comments from Marco, put them in. I was able to drive a Caterham at Alton Park, and I just really enjoyed it. It reminded me of a video I made recently when I was driving, I can't remember, maybe it was a Caterham at a Red Bull Ring, and I said, I think this is the best track day simulator right now, and I kind of felt it even more in the 0.4. Nordschleife also coming in that update, and also free roam. So free roam is coming next year. He said, I asked him when it's coming. He said next year. So Assetto Corsa EVO is going to be, I think, a big game. I think they did big stumbles. How much of that is cynical? How much of that they knew they weren't going to achieve? How much of that they've done in good faith? I don't know. The fact is that they have stumbled. The roadmap is behind, but they're not really compromising, I think, on their vision for things to be as authentic as possible. In fact, he said a priority is on the handling, is on the fundamentals before things like free roam. I also asked, because you want me to ask these things, about Trueforce and Fullforce. He says they're in talks with all the big players, Logitech, Thrustmaster, Fanatec, to get that force feedback tech properly integrated. But he also said sometimes it can take a long time to hear back. So maybe we need to put the pressure back on Fanatec and Thrustmaster and Logitech to get back to people like Kunos and Assetto Corsa EVO to make sure that we have these things integrated. It's really cool that you guys tell me what's important to you, and I'm able to fly out and ask them directly. Well, that's incredible. Now, a bit of criticism about the Sim Racing Expo for anyone who didn't go. Most people watching, you won't have gone. It felt very crowded. I think too crowded. I think they're going to announce it. I don't know if I can say it yet, but I think they're going to announce they're going to move to Frankfurt. It's going to be a bigger area, which is going to be amazing. So it felt too crowded. Too actually noisy. There were some rigs that were trying to outcompete on like how noisy. And if you think I'm exaggerating, I wasn't. It was like I'm still slightly deaf in this ear from one of the Formula One rigs. Some of the rigs were not really set up very well. Basically, all of the rigs are set up on low power, and I totally get that because you've got like kids coming on, etc. I actually find it insane that a kid can jump on a rig unsupervised there. That's like a 25 Newton meter rig with a stop button and just start driving, because I think we might look back and be like, oh, that's pretty cool, but it's also potentially dangerous. There are lots of things now with belts. There's one that attaches a helmet with strings that start to look a little bit more dangerous. So sim racing is getting ultra serious. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. There's lots and lots of brands. On the face of it, that's great for us as consumers. You know me, I'm always talking about what's good for us as consumers, but I'm starting to feel like there's so many brands that are undercutting on price and maybe borrowing or copying elements from other brands. So if a company invests a lot in R&D to come up with something and they price it at a certain point, if another company comes in and copies it and undercuts them, then that first company is maybe going to go out of business, frankly. So, and then you start to lose that innovation. We've seen this before in video games. I think like in the 80s there was a crash just to a lack of quality, and I'm starting to see a bit of a lot of brands behind closed doors are telling me that they're very uncomfortable about this. So just wanted to put something out there. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for your support. It's great to meet so many of you out there at the Sim Racing Expo. Hopefully do another one soon, maybe some more meetups in London and around the world, and I'll see you in the next Sim Racing show.